We have been reading the Bible and we were muted. I'm not sure ukuthi ni bambile na, but we were reading 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12 to 29. I only see now ukuthi I've been muted, but I'm not sure that we need to read it again. But my main verse for today is verse 27. Yona ke singayiphinda verse 27. Ithini again?
Nina ke ningumzimba kaKristu. Ningamalungu ukwabelwa izabelo.
It's important that we get to this sub question. I'm not sure usisinomzindimve ethi kusendleleni. I'm not sure uba usekhona if ukhona asincede kulombuzo endifuna ukuwubuza. Ukuthi is the church an organism or an organization? So ndizamile ukuthi ndifumane lamagama amabini in our African languages. I am not winning. Sisinomzi usekhona? I think I got her because she's driving. Ukuba ibandla ingaba linhlanganiso, an organization, or liyinto ephilileyo, an organism. Not sure. Mhlambe izasinceda ke xa lifumane. Umbuzo lo ubalulekile because abantu abaninzi baye bawele into a trap yokucinga ukuthi ubuKristu is a private affair phakathi komuntu noThixo wakhe qha. But uma ufunda iBhayibheli uyabona ukuthi umKristu opheleleyo is somebody who's not only related to the Lord, kodwa uphinde abe related to abanye abantu. Uba ngabe sisebenzisa umzekelo womnqamlezo, uyabona umnqamlezo une a vertical point ye relationship yakho namazulu, and the horizontal point i relationship yakho nabanye abantu. So is the church an organization? Into ongacabanga ngayo njengoba ucabanga nge-plant, something that grows of itself. Mhlambe low plant ekuthiwa esiba ikhula, don't touch it because xa unokuyibamba ungayibulala. It happens spontaneously. Or ibandla is a well-oiled machinery edinga ukuthi imane ibanjwa zizandla zabantu ukuze ilungiseke. Nebamba kodwa umbuzo lo. Is it something ukuthi ingazikhulela yodwa phaya ekungadingeki izandla zabantu mhlambe hleze zimoshe, okanye yinto kanye ifuna ukwenziwa ngabantu na? Abantu abathatha i-approach yokuqala yokuba ibandla is an organism, iyazenzakalela spontaneously. Baba ne feeling deep down yokuthi spontaneous is spiritual. So kubo uba ngabe izaba religious, spiritual, mayizenzakalele. Kubo bakholelwa ukuthi umthandazo from the heart more spiritual than umthandazo osukobhalwe ezincwadini. Bakholelwa ukuthi iculo olicula njengokuthi uqhutshwa ngumoya ni more spiritual than xa kuzaba khona umuntu ozathi masicule ihymn number 45. Ngaba bathi ibandla is like a plant, it's an organism. So they have a feeling that Classman Siketa committees, city committee ecumenism, committee stewardship, and so on. Kubo, we are killing the church. Let's deal with this idea that, in fact, the church should do without organization. But let's do without committees. That masivumele amakrestu atlampe together as befisa, as they wish. But together and then form a fellowship there. But according to them, do not try and organize that. And above that, yekan lento yokumane desibane membership roles and anything that like that. Ubo ikawe must just happen. Iband must just happen. Apo kuhlangana khona babini nabathathu ngegama lam ndikhona. Now inhliziyo yami nokwe is sympathetic to abantu abanjalo, because ngamanye amaxesha sinako uku-overdoa izinto, but umoya ingcwele uyafana nomoya, the wind. Bebona i-vocabulary yethu yethu ukushort, umoya ingcwele uyafana nomoya. Because in John chapter 3 verse 8, umoya, you can't control the wind. You can hear where it comes, but you don't know by your pelelang. This is the kind of balance esidingayo kulo mbuzo. If we make a church purely a human organization, sazama ukuyiqhuba ngokwazi kwethu ne-energy yethu, we will make a failure of it. If we make it purely into like the same way abantu abaqala masingcwabisane bazaqala ngakho basebenzise ingqondo zabo, usibanibani uhlakaniphe kakhulu masimenzeni abe ngunonjebo, usibanibani uthini, and so on. Ukurana ibandla ngolo hlobo will make a failure of the church. If on the other hand, if we have no organization, no pattern, no structure, then while there may be sparks of life, kube khona fellowship here and there, but ibandla lelo alizubane impact which it is supposed to have. There is a way of organizing the church eyenza ukuthi ibandla likwazi ukukhetha umoya wezulu. But there is a way of organizing the church engasenza ukuthi sibe out of umoya altogether. Sihamba kunye kodwa.
Umsono ukhona ndawo ivelayo kum. Ikhona le ndawo ithi kuye Siyashukuma.
Sikho.
Sikho.
And we have our being.
Ithi
In him we live and move and have our being. Ikhona apha ezawusidibanisa khona. And ndifuna siyibambe because I think it's a critical element. Your organism bebambe. So we need to get a balance between an organism, so a self, life, plant or thing, I don't know what to call it, an organism, into and an organization, into eyenzwa ngokudityaniswa. So mhlambe intlanganiso okanye intlanganisela na. So let's try to get a balance. Let's start ukuze sifumane a balance. I believe together that even this presentation will take us 2 sessions, or if not 3, because of our challenge here, but also no good. Amanya magama, we're struggling to find them quickly in our languages. So I don't want us to rush it. Siphele singayibambanga. But iBhayibheli isinika ipicture ezintathu endifuna sisebenzise zona ukuphendula lo mbuzo othi iyaziphilela na iBhayibheli ibanga okanye liyadijaniswa ngabantu. And I think they do simplify lo mbuzo ne. Nazi pictures ezintathu. Eyokuqala, the Bible describes the church as a building of faith. Yeah. Secondly, the Bible describes the church as a bride. Yeah. And thirdly, where we have read, the Bible is described as the church is described as the body. So these are the pictures that I want us to work with. The building, the bride, and the body. Yavaka. Now, every one of these pictures implies life plus organization. And I want to show that. 1, the church as a building. Umthombo isisekelo sabantu bakaThixo as a building, abantu bakaThixo as a building goes way back from the Old Testament. Apha ubona page by page of the Word of God zinikwa on the architectural design detail. UThixo echaza ukuthi ukwakha i-tabernacle sebenzisana so much cubits of what and so on. Never. If you read just the book of Exodus, you will see UThixo, who is an architect, giving details of ukwakheka kwendawo apho kuzawuhlala igama lakhe. Nesahamba na. It is an extraordinary thing that incwadi kaThixo should waste so many pages on this kind of detail. The sort of things that building committees struggle with. Where umaste sifuna ukwakha and sikhetha i-building committee. Among other things that struggle ngazo is that izabangakanani lento ubude ingakanani door handles izinto ezinjalo ububanzi and you see in Exodus uThixo enjalo And when the temple was then replaced, Kale temple, you remember? Solomon is a working temple. Abulingani, Utiko, it is better in such a way that Bubune says Bubansi. I think it's not the same. But Ikalengo Quenzua, Itabernacle, Le Ababahambana from Egypt, Kabifika, and down you Kumlabakal, Bega intent, Katiko, and then Bakwas Wenzesa. Later, when the temple came, every item of furniture is described in the Bible. Gold, wood, now, of course, classific of New Testament, there are no instructions. Zokwa kiwa for physical buildings. They largely borrowed, lived in the New Testament, who borrowed buildings. Maybe it's our Sebenza, Itempele, AI corner from the Old Testament, or a borrowed lecture hall, or a synagogue, or somebody's house. This is the pattern that we find Kasifunda Isens or Apostle. So they simply, in the New Testament, made do with every building that they could get. But it is interesting that for them to continue with the enterprise, they needed the buildings. So there is no principle in the New Testament about there is no principle in the Old Testament, in the New Testament also, you go to in an open air. Lay open air scala on this other side of the Bible. Actually say a football ground. Otherwise, they used buildings where they could. And in our day, it's most economical to have your own building than to keep renting. Yeah, Bakala. Because in the long run, it is more cheaper to buy. In the New Testament, Asinayo mentioned a physical building. I think the reason for that is that there is now another building in the New Testament which God needs on earth. In the Old Testament, Isakiwo Utikabesi Sevenzisa for his purposes was made of boards and wood. But in the New Testament, God Utiko is bringing a different idea. Utu Paulus maitetangayo leli bandla uthi ibandla liyakhiwa. It's a building up. Let's build each other up. So in which individual Christians are fitly framed and joined together. So Ama Crestu now are becoming the building where God can dwell in. In the sense, in the past, God would dwell in the tent and later in the temple of Solomon, but after Christ, God dwells in the believers. So the believers are the building. Say answer. God lives in a building made up of people. Now, building, whatever building, needs to be highly organized. The building cannot be put up without being organized. Even if you don't have an architect or a development plan, no la tape will miss out difuna isuke apa iphelele apa ikitch, something like that. It needs an organization. The organization is there in this picture, but where is life? there is a dead thing of a brick and mortar. Where is life? The answer is, it Testament enter. It tells about this building of the church being composed of the living stones. Niyamkhumbula Petros ethi yakhekani njengelitshe eliphilileyo, njengamatshe aphilileyo. So this is life. Okay? There is a picture in what this metaphor is mixed, a mixture of both life and organization. But the Bible, I don't like metaphors is dibene. Can you imagine what kind of a building it will be if ilitshe nelitshe lizihlale lapho lithanda khona? Abakhi bayayazi ukuthi elilitshe le right for this corner. Elilitshe, well, ilitshe lembo. And so, in other words, if any litshe lizihlale lapho lithanda khona, the building would just be chaotic. So it is critical that these stones must be throbbed and fitly framed together. So this is where life plus organization meet. So if we don't like the word organization, we might settle for a framework. There is a framework. Fitly framed together, construction or whatever term that we like using. But there is no doubt that Utiko never intended Christians to be a lot of living stones that just move in every direction that they want. He wanted them to be organized forms of living stones. But living stones organized together, framed together, structured together to a job together for God to inhabit, to do a job together so that uti ahlale good and use. That's the first picture. The second picture is that of the bride. Umakoti, umchakazi, umlombokazi. The second picture, this metaphor of a church as a bride is a very daring one. And now, ikala ku testament endala. Apo atu konat uti koku Israel. Today I have married you. You are mine. You are my wife. I am jealous of you. I'm not going to share you with anyone else. Kumithetho kaThixo wokuqala nje is that you must have no other God but me. You are married to me. You are my wife. You shall have no other gods but me, and I am your husband. And klasifika ku testament entsha, uYesu uzichaza as a bridegroom. The bridegroom. The bridegroom is not yet a husband. But it's not yet the husband. Though ozayenza ukuthi umtshado uphelele between ibe umtshakazi nomyeni. Right. Uyesu ke is a bridegroom. It is the same picture, the same relationship. Uthi Paulus kayichaza lento that a true marriage in Ephesians chapter 5 verse 32. This is a profound mystery. A true marriage is a profound mystery because it gives a picture of a relationship between Christ and the church. So if uYesu ngumyeni, who is the bride? Okay. So in this picture, siyabona ubomi, life, ukuphila, a bride emhle, radiant, glowing on her wedding day. Can't you see life there? But there will be an organization as well. Imagine a bride as our charter in the next 3 weeks, how busy they would be. The organization that must be done before the wedding day, the flowers, the hall, and all the arrangements. They would start off by saying, no, I don't want a huge wedding. I want a private, small private wedding. And you'll find out later, there is nothing small here. As the plans keep going, as the organization keeps going. Now the guest list, who's taking care of this and that, and then boom, it's a big thing. There will be arrangements. There will be a combination of life and organization. Yeah, Bagan. So we'll have to have arrangements for the wedding, however small you intend it to be. There will be organization if Umchato is going to be what is meant to be. There will be organization even after Umchato, as you find your to-do list for your first week, Umchato, and first weekly upkeep, and so on and so on. So now, in saying that the church is the bride, the New Testament is concentrating on this. You only talk of a bride in relation to the wedding. Yeah? It's no longer my bride. I mean, I've been married now 22 years. She's my wife. Yeah? She was my bride then. If now today the humble man did to meet my bride, you'd think that we are planning a wedding, or we just just married. Eh? After they had been married, the husband says, meet my wife. Bride is connected with the wedding. Ne? And the church of Jesus Christ is a bride. The church is looking forward to being married. Eh? And I say to them, he's going to be one day when he marries his bride, the church. Eh? Nihambana, are you getting the picture? A church ka Yesu Kristu ngumchakazi. Yesu wants to marry us as the church. And utu Paulus balela ibandla la 2 Corinthians 11 verse 2. What I have betrothed you, so I am in courtship with you. Silungselela ngesizulu bebezawuthi uyingodu soyam. I'm exposed, I'm engaged to you. This is where kuza ipli ukuba uKristu ukufuna without a spot, ningena bang, ningena wrinkles, or any blemish on the day of the wedding. Imagine umchakazi wako, on the day of the wedding, you realize, no, but this is not the person I've been seeing the past 3 weeks. The emotion. Yesu wants umchakazi wake pure, white, chaste, beautiful. That's an incentive to holiness. When we are holy, when we strive for holiness, we are being made ready for a millennium church. So here again, Sibona, life plus arrangements. The bride is required to arrange her bridal garment. She is to arrange what is on her side of the wedding. Doesn't it seem strange, therefore, that we seldom speak about the return of the Lord in the church. Is it not strange? Because if the return of the Lord is the wedding, ngumpumchakazi ongathi xa ethetha nawe ekubalisela ukulungisa kwakhe ngomtshato at yabona kuzaba khona limousine, flowers, mfundisi and so on, but alibale umyeni lo. Uthi ubuze ukuthi yonke into ikhona kodwa apha kule ngxoxo yakho andimva umyeni uzaba khona. Oh yeah, yes, naye uzaba khona. Uyabona ukuthi in most cases the church is much more concerned about the other things that will be there. Kanti owona umtshato is when the bride and the bridegroom are there and getting married. Even if I call limousine, but a bride and a bridegroom, this is the thing, the center of it all. You imagine an African wedding. Ubeva says again, ihuta ngathi o driver iminwa isasuki kwihuta ubona iprocession enkulu umyeni ekhwele kule moto ephambili zenza procession uyolanda umakoti wakhe triumphant kind of visitation ngabantu abasuke edimbaza beze apha exoxa bozolanda umakoti opha phambili. This is the procession that we're waiting. The bridegroom in the front car, he goes into her house and brings her back triumphantly. Ekhaya kokwethu emveni kwalo sabe sicula ingoma ethi simujeri sinatla. Now the strong one has taken him away, has taken her away. The groom is meeting a bride. When Jesus collects the church, that is going to be like that. Jesus is coming and taking us to be with himself. And every church that is truly a bride will talk much about the coming of Jesus. Leyo is dibana 2 hours long. I mean, for 52 Sundays, and without once referring to the fact that we as a Makoti. He's coming, which is the main thing. So what are we talking about? Finally, the church is the body. The third picture is that of a church as the body of Jesus Christ. Uba ucinga ngomzimba womuntu, human body, and then say like the church is like that. You've got the picture. Njengoba ndisijoyintile nje ndithi ezizandla zika Yesu Kristu. Noba ngathi inikana ikhala, but that is what you must see. Unlike the two pictures, this picture doesn't start in the Old Testament. The building, we found it from the Old Testament to the New. The bride, we found it from the Old Testament to the New. This is a completely new picture. Now, you remember the pictures that we dealt with when we said, what is the purpose of the church? The first two pictures came from the Old Testament. You shall love God, you shall love your neighbor, and then you shall love one another. It doesn't come from the Old Testament. Yeah? Now, even with these pictures, the building the bride from the Old Testament, but the body is new. You see, in the Old Testament, it was inconceivable. Nobody could have ever thought of God having the body. To this day, Amayuda, they don't want to describe God. They don't even point up Pangamani. Now, it was beyond their wildest imaginations. But then, Man, at the break of history, yes, ingangala la Yesu. Bafiku Yesu, and he came in a body. Oko wawuthabathayo umsebenzi wokumkhulula umuntu akusicikisanga isizalo sentombi. Came and he left this earth on Ascension Day in a body. He did not disappear into some air and then kubonakale uthuthu linyuka. He went up in a body. So not before the instruction that the church will remain as a body. They saw his body going up, but ebanikile myalezo ukuthi they must remain and carry the work of Jesus Christ on earth. So uYesu Christ is going to carry it through, carry umsebenzi wakhe through the church. Yeah, so the church is to be his body. The hands that you have are the hands of Christ now. They are to do his work on earth. These are the lips of Christ to talk for him. Iyahlupa umuntu athi selekho athathe ezi lips zakhe ukuhlukumeza ngazo. I've just read before I came here with very much disappointment of one spiritual singer that I respect so much. Okuthiwa ebe insult emthuka umuntu omsebenzelayo. You can the same mouth ekhupha worship. Can it be the same mouth that insults other person who's been created in the image of God? Now, uma sijonga umzimba, you discover that life and an organization. My body, David Kundumiso 139 verse 14. My body is the most wonderfully organized thing. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. It really is. All scientists, they're still trying to discover how is every little cell in the body organized. It is more complicated. I mean, we don't know about Kuteni. Why? You just see yourself having done it, blinking. Yes. We have not made. It's more complicated than the most complicated computer. And yet, here it is. Your cells are working to enable you to be in this Bible study today, to conduct this Bible study. My cells are functioning. I don't know what is doing what in order for so there is organization and there is structure in a body. Angel, uba cells zam zikala ukubehave haphazardly. If any of my cells start dividing without the body telling them to do, I'm in trouble. You will call an ambulance. If my body stops doing what, whatever engine it is tells it to do, you'll be saying the feeds or the stroke. You'll find other. It will be a problem. So even in the body, there is an organization and there is life. So organization and organism should never be set against each other. The church must be both an organization and an organism. It must be into a pillar to run, but it must be organized. I'm not sure if in the Avagala so far. So unless Uba so organized that you kill the thing dead, you plant is cooler, but tend to be organizer by over-organized until they kill it. And even in the church. They over-organize to the point that they kill the spirit in the church. So it's no longer about worship. It's about meeting. And every meeting is like a new committee. And so on and so on and so on. When do we get time for the spirit to move? But on the other end, you can be so lively that it's no longer ordered. It leads to chaos. Now, our God is not God of confusion or chaos. Were order. The first thing that God did when he came and it was dark and it was chaos in Genesis chapter 1 verse 1, God commanded that there be light, that chaos stops immediately. So Utiko Apekoyo, there is order. He himself is an organizer and he expects the church to be properly organized. Now, you could just take these three pictures and say the church is a building of faith. For believers are its living stones. Ne? 2, the church is a bride of hope, constantly looking forward to the return of Christ. 3, the church is a body in which various members must work together in love. Otherwise, the body will not be effective. I think the first part of answering this, let's stop it here. And then we will continue answering this next week as Sikubezela. Then what? Now that we have this picture, how should it be organized going forward? This at this point, Tata Emibuzo, if you corner, I think we have 3 minutes before we close.
Metaphorical of the so it's hidden. Something is a hidden creature. If I may, like it's not easy for you can just understand.
I'm not sure, Ogote, do I understand you well now? I think all these pictures, the building, the bride, the body, are kind of glaring in scripture. The challenge is, Tina, when we do read the Bible, when we preach, we are selective. Because you can't talk of Christ's return without talking about the holiness that is required in it to be the bride ready for the wedding. So because we want to avoid those subjects, sizawukhetha izinto emasithethe ngazo. Someone is thetha ngevase ukuthi ivase le yona is about right for umtshato, as if sithetha ngomtshato wa somebody else kanti sithetha ngomtshato wethu noKristu, without saying, well, zonke ezi zinto ndiyazibona zi-ready for umtshato. Am I ready for umtshato now? If you're going to talk about the building, you are going to have to deal with Petros. Yakhekani lingamatshe aphilileyo. So if you're going to talk about the body, you're going to have to deal with the individual functions of the body. Why is it that your body indlebe ayihlukumezi izinto, but ecaweni ukhona usibanibani ohlukumeza usibanibani? So these are the things that are so glaring, but we don't choose them. Singamani sithethe ngecholo lichayi lingaseliphele. I'm not saying it's a wrong scripture. It is actually a very good scripture. But we are canonizing further, says Pungu. Otherwise, it is not hidden.
Fundis. So give manyama. Umshado ukafika.
No, sisebenza lo mtshado. So kukhotshi.
So umshado ngulona ke ngoku othetha ngayo phakathi kwezithile.
We.
Zabe umshado.
Zabe ngumtshado ke ngoku.
Abachakazi ababe sebelungiselelekile for umshado bavuka ayimtshadweni.
Wonke umuntu uzavuka. Naba abangezotshado bazabe bekhona babuke lo mtshado. So ibandla ke lingumtshakazi, not abachakazi. Xa silibandla and sikuKristu, we are the bride of Christ. Silunga sonke silungele imini yomtshado. Ibambile ke. Bayalaugh. Aba bangalungelanga mtshado bayalaugh. And in fact, we spoke about it. At kuzofumaneka enye ithepe inganxibelanga msitho. Ngoba uzowena mnganom ngene njani inganxibelanga msitho. Wakhuphela phandle apho kuzaba khona gnashing of teeth. Yes. So this is what happens to esingalungelanga umtshado. Selisilapho sesiqhaba izandla sabona umtshado sathi umhle umtshado, but because we are not part of it, we are not ready for it. Yes. No, awuzukuzazi kuba ufike. Ikala ngoku intombi izazi njani uba izawutshata nomfana othile? Izazi ngoba kuqala ivumelene naye ukuthi ewe ndiyavuma nditshata. So when the proposal is made, you are given a choice. Yokuthi ungavuma iproposal le okanye ungayivuma, ungayala. So awuzukwazi ukuthi uyale and go around telling people ukuthi la chap izanditshata. Njani ungayivumanga? Uyabona uqala uzazi uselapha ukuthi no mina andivumanga umtshado. So xa senivuswa, because all of us sizawuvuka mhla likhali icilongo. When the wedding procession comes, aba bangamvumanga, they will immediately know ukuthi ngendimi kula platform. Uyabona abantu abangamvumanga umfana seletshata ngoku ndingumfundisi ndibuza papa ukuthi kukhona na umuntu onesizathu esivakalayo. Ubona umuntu enesifiso sokuphakamisa isandla kanti nguye oye wala i-opportunity. Akamvuma ebecinga ukuthi ngumfana ohamba edlala kanti usefuna umtshado. But this is what it is, even about the church.
So
yes. No, we ain't go to Sokengo. Nigo courtship kengo. Wena plus abanye abamvumileyo ni bride kaThixo. Awukatshati. Nilungiselela umtshado. Uyabona xa ufumaneka usesipajazweni uyakuphosa umtshana.
But I don't know me.
Kaloku uvumile. Xa uvumayo kukhona imigomo, imiqathango yokuthi njengomlombokazi, njengomtshakazi zigcine ngolu hlobo nolu hlobo nolu hlobo nolu hlobo. Ukuze ngalamini yomtshato ufumaneke unyulu. Now uba uzawufuna,
let's go to Matthew 25. I think that is the umzekelo right.
Right, ewe.
Lamantombazana asithi oyi-10 amvumile umshado.
Yes.
Avumile ayafuna umshado.
Yes.
That process kuba zilungiseleleni ke ngoku.
Umuntu makathale ilampi yakhe ngoku.
Yes. Right. Amahlanu ku-attendeka kuloko ayofika umshado aziyeka izinto ezingazofuneka lo mshado.
Sure.
Amanye aziyeka engaziyeki wafika imini yomshado. Naku umyeni esiza alungileyo ayongena nomyeni. Amanye athi hayi kodwa ahamba lozithengeleni iparafini. Lawuvala. Ezifunekayo ezipheleleyo zaziphethe izibane zazo zazineparafini, but zazingenayo iparafini enokuthi xa kufikelele ukuba makugalele izibane zayicima zikwazi ukugalela. Ezi zazilungiselele for uhambo olude nomyeni, zazigcwalise izibane zaza zaphatha ne-2 litre ecaleni. Kwathi uba ke ngoku le nto sithi le nto bendibuza ukufundisa ithi awukafiki umtshado. Uthi ufundisa awukafiki umtshado. That kufuneka ntoni xa ukafika umtshado? Kufuneka simane siyazi uba izibane zethu zizawuhlala zivude because awukafiki umtshado. So kufuneka sisoloko sineparafini kuba awukafiki umtshado. Xa wena esibane usigcwalisile kodwa uhambe usuhambayo uphelelwe iparafini ungayithenganga iparafini ufika umtshado. Zawuletha ngoku
Usayothenga.
So
xa kuvalwa icango noba ubuya neparafini igcwele awusakwazi
ukuvala icango.
Ke Madlamini sicelo sithandaze.
Amen.
Masamkelo babalo sindike sinokho. Althi bawalo besithi Yesu Kristu uthando lukaThixo nodlelwano kaMoya benathi sonke ngamninga ngokusebenza maphakathi. Amen.
Amen.
Enkosi ke izihlobo zami apho online